Alright, yo. Going over the map of the Boundary Waters, there's 2.3 million acres in the Boundary Waters. And so there's thousands of miles of canoe trails and, you know, thousands of lakes. And it also, this right here is the Canadian border, that dotted line you're seeing. And then on the side of that is even more wilderness, and which is Quetico. I forget what they call it. It's Quetico something. But so Ely, Minnesota is down here somewhere, and right about in here somewhere, and we are going to get drove in to right here, and this is where we get dropped off. It's like a parking lot sitting right there, a small parking lot out in the middle of the woods, kind of, with a dirt road going to it. And then we just unload everything, go down a slight hill, and put everything right there in the water. And then once we get off, we paddle. And this, I don't know why it switches into Newfound. It's the same water. There's no break in the water. But we go up through Newfound. Last time I was up there, you'll see these dots. That's where we camped. Right, there's like a campsite in between here. It's I think a 30 rod portage in between these two lakes, which a rod is 16.5 feet. So you take 16.5 times 30. But that was a private lake. In fact, if you look up Big Trip with Pop on YouTube, it's my old account, Irish Guy 80. You can still see some of the videos from up there from last time. But we stayed there the first night, and then the second day we got up and the weather was terrible. It was raining and the water was so choppy there was no way we could paddle, so we had to stay there 2 days. That's why it says 2-day camp, and then it says first right here. But from there we paddled along here. You can see this here, and came along. There's a portage there, a small one, and this is Splash Lake, and this one's a really easy portage. It's nice and flat. And then we came into Splash Lake. There is I think that's a 5 rod portage. The thing here, the portage here is like 5 rods. That's 5 times 16.5. It's really not that far at all. I mean, literally it'd be easier just to, you're basically portaging around some shallow rapids. It would be easier just to get out, drag the canoe through them, and get back in on this side of the rapids. Might do that, might not, depends. Because last time I was there, this portage was just a big mud hole. It wasn't a very good portage at all. It was just a big pile of mud, basically, you had to walk through. But then once you get into Ensign, it's really beautiful. Actually, see, I'm remembering this. I had taken a video right around in here when I was up there. So then we came up, we got to here, and this is a really nice campsite. It's up on a kind of a bluff, I called it. It's basically up on a great big hill, and it's solid granite. And by the time we had gotten there, we were so tired we just wanted to lay down. So we both crawled into our sleeping bags, didn't unpack anything, and just laid out on the rocks and fell asleep. Well, we woke up about an hour and a half later, just before dark, and found that there was like billions of mosquitoes. Like, all you could hear was the whining of mosquito wings, and they just came down on us. So we hurried up and threw the tent up, and as we were working on getting the tent up and everything, it started downpouring. But we left there the next day. And see, this is one of the campsites that didn't have a lot of wood, if I remember correctly. But basically we came through here. We had a heck of a time because the wind was coming against us, so we had a hard time paddling through here. This is only like a couple miles, maybe 2 miles. And then we got to here. Now again, my old man had lung cancer, so he was very weak. He didn't know it, but so we camped here. This place had a great amount of firewood. It was perfect camp. all that good stuff, and it was right next to our portage the next day. In fact, there's a story here too. We got everything in our canoe kind of half-assed because we knew we only had to go a short distance to get to our portage, and the dog was moving around inside the canoe and ended up falling out of the canoe. The only time she did bad in the canoe right there, and started dragging the canoe this way while we were trying to paddle this way, because we were only about 50 feet from there when she fell out. And so my old man got out and walked her through the shallows to the portage, and I paddled the rest of the way over to the portage. But this is where the main portages start. You've got a 55 rod right there. You come down through this small lake. You've got a 105 right here. Some of these are pretty brutal too. You got a 25 there. You've got another 55 there. You come into Jordan. You get up here. There's a 5 rod right there. And then we camped here. That's in Ima. And then the next day we came up through here. This is a pretty good campsite too. But on one of these, it was right around in here, I think. Actually, no, it was on the second portage, so it was right here. We had most of our gear across, and it started downpouring. And by the time we could get to our gear, because we had to go across several times to get everything across, by the time we got across, we were completely soaked. It was down about in the lower 50s, high 40s, and so we just, instead of just stopping and doing anything, we just decided to get in the canoe and paddle. We paddled clear to here with the wind against us. By the time we got there, we were both just shivering pretty darn bad. And then we did 2 days at that campsite, and that's where my old man passed away in his sleep. We got here, and we got in the tent and everything, and then the next day we woke up. We were going to take off and go on down like we had planned, and he started getting sick. So, and then the next morning I found him. He was already gone. So, like I said in the first video, I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. I'm totally okay. He went in one of the most beautiful areas of the country. In his sleep, he couldn't ask for nothing more. He didn't suffer hardly at all. He was in a little bit of pain the day before, but that was about it. So from here on around is foreign to me. Up until this point, I know fairly well. In fact, I can actually spot out, the hard portages, the easy portages, the nice spots, the bad spots, all that good stuff. But then we have to come down through here, all the way down here. This is a river here, I think. Let me scoot back a little bit. Down here and on up to Lake One here, and we get picked up right there. So that's our whole trip. So you can kind of see it goes in this great big circle on down around and comes back to almost a couple miles away. So that's our trip, and I wanted to do this for one, for the video, so y'all could see what's going on, and two, so the professor could actually see the map, because I have a spare map but I haven't been able to get it to him. So anyway guys, that's what we're planning on doing. I'll be uploading the my kit video shortly of what all I'm taking, but any comments or questions, that's cool too. But anyway guys, thank you for watching.